with NATO. So this was not just a Ukrainian. They didn't just come up with this idea on their own.
Is the are the Ukrainians attempting to set fire to or destroy the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant?
Yeah, they did hit it with a drone yesterday, and that's why I said I think this was a coordinated plan. Their goal was first to reach and get, if not control of the Kursk nuclear power plant, at least bring it under, let's call, fire control, where they'd be close enough with artillery that they could shoot at it. Now, that raises a whole other question. If they get close enough with artillery, how in the world are they going to resupply those artillery batteries with the actual shells to fire? But let's just enter the world of fantasy and pretend that they can do that. But then in taking control of the Kursk plant, then they were going to they had this other attack that they launched yesterday, where they hit one of the cooling towers with a drone and set it on fire. Now, this is really crossing a nuclear red line when you start attacking one of those facilities. Because in theory, if you take out one of the cooling towers, you could potentially compromise the entire nuclear facility, and you could be back in potential Chernobyl range of a meltdown. Now, Russia has the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, which is the largest one in all of Europe, has been it's been shut down, operating on just keeping the reactors going without having it actually operating at full blast. But nonetheless, it appears that the goal of this was that Ukraine was going to get control of the Kursk power plant and then use that as a bargaining chip, as leverage with the Russians, saying, okay, you give us back Zaporizhzhia, we'll give you back Kursk. That way, from a Ukrainian standpoint, they say that they'd be saving face.
All right, so we're just to clarify this and educate me if I'm incorrect. We're talking about two power plants here.
Correct.
We're talking about the Zaporizhzhia one, which is in Ukraine. They attacked their own power plant. And then we're talking about one outside of Kursk, which they have attempted to, but failed to secure in an effort to engage in some kind of a switch.
Correct. So if people are looking at a map, the Donbass is, in the center of the country. And so just go out to the 9 o'clock position, like you're looking at a clock face. That's where roughly the Zaporizhzhia power plant, a nuclear power plant, is. It's located on the river, near the river, the Dnieper River, in like the center of this. And Zaporizhzhia is one of the territories that Russia annexed in the election. And Russia's had control of this plant since the second day, I believe, of this beginning of the special military operation. So they've had it, for more than 2.5 years.
Is it online? Is it operative? Does it produce power for Ukrainian people?
No, it's not. It hasn't been producing for it was not much. No, the Russians have gradually shut it down. So the reactors are still on, but it is not operating at full power to provide electricity, not only to Ukraine, but to other parts of Europe. So like I said, this is the biggest facility of its type in Europe. But the Russians have had control of it. The Ukrainians have fired some mortars, rockets, artillery, and hit it with some drones in the past, but haven't done any damage. Hitting it Sunday with that drone in the cooling tower and starting that fire, that's significant. Now, what's interesting is Zelensky came out late yesterday and said, "Oh no,